The Pulse of Spokane is a broad show that showcases many different things in our community, sponsored by Local 29 Firefighters Union, Well Dressed Walrus, and Homes for You.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this lovely morning in Spokane on The Pulse on Spokane Talks Media. Today I am joined by Jamie Morrison of African Enterprise, so we will be right back with you after this short break.
Today, Spokane's weather is going to be rainy with a high of 75, while this week looks to clear out. Tonight will be rainy with a low of 49. Today, Coeur d'Alene's weather is going to be mostly rainy with a high of 70 and a low of 52. Caccini's weather is going to be mostly cloudy with a high of 72 and a low of 48.
Hi, I'm Dave Lucas, running to be your state senator. I'm a husband, father, and Marine veteran with almost 22 years of experience. I know during this current medical emergency and time of uncertainty, people are concerned. I hope you and your family are doing well. I have the experience, leadership, and training to move us past this crisis. To learn more about me and my campaign for state senator, please follow me on my Twitter, Facebook, or my website at votedavelucas.net. Thank you, and stay well.
To help you be safe, Washington state law requires you to call 811 2 full business days before you plan, for example, to dig, drill, plow, pull from, or pound anything into the ground. Be prepared to provide the operator with the correct address, cross street, and a description of your work. You must mark the dig area with white paint. The operator will inform you of the utilities notified of your impending excavation. Wait for all their marks. Be safe and dig with care.
When building a home or considering a major remodel, who are you going to choose? The Spokane Home Builders Association is an organization that works to elevate professionalism in the residential construction industry. We promote, protect, and educate for our community, building our community one home at a time. We are the Spokane Home Builders Association.
Hello, my friends and fellow Republicans. My name is Stephen T. Major, and I'm a candidate for the 5th Congressional District of the state of Washington. It goes without saying that we are living in exceedingly difficult times. We, the people, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, in God we trust. These words have great meaning to me, and I believe to every American. These sacred ideals are under attack right now. In fact, our very liberty is in jeopardy. As your representative in Congress, I will fight for the values and interests of Eastern Washington in our country. God bless you, and I thank you for your vote.
Paid for by Stephen Major for Congress, Republican.
Welcome back to The Pulse, everybody. I am live with Jamie Morrison of African Enterprises. How you doing today, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. Have any trouble getting here?
No, I didn't.
No,
Smooth
not at
traffic.
all.
Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem. Yeah, Spokane, you can't expect too much traffic.
No.
Especially if you're coming from Drew University, you know?
Yeah. I went back east for college. Drew University is a small college, somewhat like Whitworth, but about 30 miles out of New York City. And speaking of traffic, I grew up in L.A., so that was traffic here is definitely preferable to the traffic in L.A.
I don't think 30 miles means the same thing out there. That's a day's trip.
It really is.
So you are the executive director of African Enterprises, is that right?
Yeah. So our U.S. office is located here in Spokane.
Okay.
And so we are a nonprofit. We're a Christian nonprofit, and we aim to empower Africans, African nationals in the major cities in Africa to reach out through various types of ministry and uplifting people across the continent of Africa. So Spokane's our headquarters for the whole U.S., and we have supporters all over the country, pretty much all 50 states, and then churches and foundations as well support us.
That's impressive. Spokane's your headquarters throughout the entire states?
It is. It just has been for the last 6 years. The organization was founded in 1962 by a South African by the name of Michael Cassidy, And at that time, he was in there's a seminary in the LA area called Fuller Seminary.
Okay.
So he was a student there when he founded it. So our office was in that area up until 2014, and that's when we moved to Spokane.
Okay, and you guys are located just by the Northtown now, aren't you?
Yeah, we're in the Northtown office building, just catty-cornered from the Northtown Mall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and African Enterprise, is that on the front of that building, or is that?
No, we don't. We don't get too much foot traffic. You know, most of our attention from people comes through our website, africanenterprise.org, or you know, through us contacting our supporters through phone or snail mail or email, or in normal times when there's no coronavirus, I do a fair bit of traveling around the country and connecting with our supporters. So I would normally be doing that, but that's how we keep connections with people.
I can definitely see how coronavirus would slow that down. As what kind of complications has that brought up for you with coronavirus, and even with protests going on? What kind of complications have been popping up?
Well, our ministry takes place in Africa, so the coronavirus has caused us complications there. You know, we haven't had riots in the sense that we've had the riots here in Africa.
Yeah.
So it's mainly been the coronavirus, and so our normal, we have various sort of forms of outreach. We have what we call like 5 pillars of our ministry. The first is called stratified evangelism and discipleship. That's some big words there, but basically we were modeled on the Billy Graham organization. You know, if you're of a certain age, you would have heard of Billy Graham.
So I wouldn't have.
Yeah, if you haven't, he went out and he preached, the gospel to huge stadiums of people. That is, that there is a God, that He loves us very much, that He sent His Son Jesus to die for us, and we can follow Him and just have peace in our hearts. There's a lot more to it than that, but anyway. Billy Graham would preach that message in huge stadiums, and tens of thousands of people would come. But a lot of people can't attract those sorts of crowds. And the other thing is we wanted to go out and communicate that message to where people live their lives. So that we call it stratified. That means we go into every strata of society. So we send people out to share that message in offices, factories, prisons, hospitals. In Africa, you can go just talk in marketplaces, places where taxis come, that type of thing. So that's one way we reach out, and we really work through local churches. We try to empower local churches in Africa, because the local church is the biggest organization in Africa. Okay. It reaches out everywhere, in every country, to the grassroots, everywhere. So we look to empower the local church. So we do a lot of leadership training. We also do a lot of community development, where which a lot of that is oriented towards women. Women often bear the brunt of a lot of the problems in Africa, of poverty and disease and all these sorts of things. And so we try to empower them by teaching them practical skills like sewing, soap making, candle making, stuff like this, and then they can make products and sell them and earn a decent living and be self-sufficient. And it's remarkable the transformation that happens in a lot of these women's lives through this. And then we're also involved in youth empowerment. Africa is a very young continent. Something like 60% of the population of Africa is under the age of 25. So there's a lot of youth to reach. And then we do a lot of reconciliation and peacemaking, because there's been so much conflict in Africa, wars, different tribes getting into conflict with one another. So we've reached out and tried to bring them together in reconciliation. So the coronavirus really has made it so we can't do a lot of this public kind of outreach. So we have done a lot of, again, meeting people's practical needs of providing soap, hand sanitizer, face masks, education on how the coronavirus is spread so that people know how to deal with it. And then another real problem for a lot of Africans is they are day laborers. So they go out each day, they earn some money in cash, and that enables them to provide for their families. So if they're on any kind of lockdown, there's no social safety net, there's no, welfare or unemployment. And so if they can't go out and work for days and even weeks at a time, it's really gets into like a starvation scenario.
I can see why.
And so we've provided a lot of food aid to people during this time. So
sounds like you guys do quite a bit out there. I did a little bit of research, but I didn't quite get all of that. With that whole day-to-day working thing, I could see how, obviously if you can't go out to go work, that's got to be quite the hit to your pocket.
Yeah, it really is. And so especially we have a partner church in Seattle area who's really stepped up. They've provided over $20,000 for us to provide. We've reached out to several thousand families in the capital city of Kigali in Rwanda to provide, just bags and bags and bags of cornmeal and beans and just basic food aid so that people can survive through this.
Wow, there's a lot to that. You ever actually go to Africa yourself? You do these big talks yourself?
I don't so much get out in the forefront. I see my role as more of a supporting role in the background, but I lived in South Africa for a total of 10 years. 3 of my 4 kids were born there. We lived in a city called Pietermaritzburg, which is actually about the size of Spokane, so not a huge city, and really loved it there. South Africa's a beautiful country. There's a lot of beauty all over Africa. Loved the African people. They are, everybody on planet Earth should go to Africa sometime in their lifetime because you will fall in love with it. You will fall in love with the people, and there's just a quality of Africans that they embrace you with a warmth as no other. So we absolutely love Africa. It's a remarkable continent. It has a remarkable future despite a lot of the problems that it's had in the past. But yeah, it was a privilege living in South Africa for those years. I was there in 1994 when South Africa transitioned to a real democracy when Mandela was elected. Yeah. Because prior to that, only whites had the vote, which was utterly unjust. So it was astonishing. It was like having backstage passes to an amazing moment in history. The election should have been. It's a whole long story, but the election was about to head off the rails and they're about to erupt in violence, but it was a miraculous story of how it ended up being peaceful when nobody expected that. And then I've been to about maybe a dozen of Africa's 54 countries, so I've really enjoyed that, but there's a lot more of the continent I haven't seen.
Well, geez, as far as I've ever been outside is Jamaica, but it sounds like Africa might have to be added to the list. South Africa is. Well,
I haven't been to Jamaica, but my wife was a Whitworth grad. She grew up near here in Wilbur, a little town west of Spokane.
Yeah.
But Whitworth has what they call a Jan term, and she spent several weeks in Jamaica teaching there and absolutely loved it.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah.
So, along with that, being a nonprofit, is there a way people can reach out to help through donations, through seeing what they can do? You got a website that you want to put out there?
Yeah, that would be great. We're always looking for new friends. AfricanEnterprise.org, O-R-G, is our website. So there's a lot of information there. There's our email address, phone numbers there. We're always eager to hear from people. An investment in Africa is sure to pay dividends. It's like I said, it's a continent of the future. It's a young continent, and it's a continent that's ready to really impact the world in so many ways. And like I said, if you ever go there, you will want to go back again and again and again.
All right. Well, it sounds like you guys do great work, and as it is with most things you can donate to, even if you can only donate a little bit, I'm sure everything helps.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jamie. It's been wonderful having you on. I will catch you soon on the Pulse as we continue.
Okay. Thank you, Brodie.
Yeah.
Well, this is Bloomsday in Spokane. We got about 40 firefighters and their friends and family handing out 40,000 cups of water as the day goes by.
It's a very good opportunity to see the public and support them and help them out and cheer them on during Bloomsday.
It's one of the best things about Spokane is that we have these major events and the whole community comes together not just to participate but to volunteer and show that they really care about our city and making our city look great.
This type of an event really is emblematic of Spokane because so many people get involved. We have 50,000 people probably running this race. Always has been a very huge event.
Right now we're at the corner of Broadway and Nettleton. It's the last water station before the finish, so people are pretty much dehydrated by the time they get to us. They really need our water.
The water stations are a vital part, especially on warm days like today. It's real important that we have the volunteers to help with that. Without the volunteers, Bloomsday wouldn't exist.
All up and down the course, there are people that are involved in this celebration. It really is a celebration of what Spokane's all about.
Welcome to Apex Plaza, Spokane's one-stop cannabis destination. Apex Cannabis features thousands of economy, value, and luxury cannabis products. Cannagear features hemp-based CBD products, glass, goods, and gear. Stop by 1325 North Division to experience the Apex difference.
This product has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming. Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug. There may be health risk associated with the consumption of this product. For use only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children.
The economy is getting stronger, banks are lending again, and interest rates are at historic lows. Now is a great time to buy your dream home. The caring and knowledgeable professionals at Homes for You have been helping people just like you for over 20 years. They take the time to listen to what you want and will help you find just the right home in Washington or Idaho. Real estate is what we do at Homes for You, 928-5782, or visit online at homes4uspokane.com.
Welcome back to the Pulse of Spokane. I am joined by Sarah Carlson, the founder of Fulcrum Financial. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. You have any trouble getting here? A little off to the side?
I went to the west side of Buckeye first before coming east. So, yeah, but great to get out, be back in this neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, it's probably great to get out. Everybody's been locked inside.
Yeah, definitely.
So you are the founder of Fulcrum.
Yep, Fulcrum Financial Group. I founded the company about 22 years ago.
22 years. That's a long run.
It is a pretty long run.
Yeah. What kind of work do you guys do for everybody? And it's probably, financial advising, but what else?
Yeah, well, we give innovative, honest, caring advice, and we've been at this where we've seen so many ordinary people live extraordinary lives. So we have wealth management and financial planning services, and we are in the independent space, which means we're fiduciaries and represent our clients' best interests.
Fiduciaries. I can't say I'm familiar with the word.
Fiduciary, yeah, that's where you have to put your clients' interests ahead of yourself versus a lot of the financial industry are salespeople, and they're representing like a bank or an insurance company.
Oh, no wonder I haven't heard of the word. It's not common.
It'll probably become more common because of Reg B is going into effect, in fact, today. So the industry is going through some transformation of more disclosure that way, so you understand exactly how your financial people get paid in the process.
Well, that's good to know. I would hope when it comes to working with money that, you'd be upfront with the person whose money you're handling.
Absolutely. That is paramount, is full disclosure and information. Yep.
Yeah, well, if it's my money at stake, I want to know what's going on. I don't want to, as much as, you probably know a lot more about money than I would, I still, want to have some control over, or at least know what's going on with everything. So it's great to see that there's a company out there who's actually, upfront with everybody.
Absolutely. And we help with overall strategy, and there's nothing in the financial universe that we can't help our clients with. So whether stocks, bonds, managed money, you name it, we're able to help them. We're able to charge just a fee to do planning. We have a lot of flexibility in our structure.
So it sounds like you guys do things kind of different to a lot of other companies, obviously with your upfront nature and everything. So 22 years ago when you were getting Fulcrum started, what kind of gave you the motivation to get going with that?
Yeah, so financial services as a whole is pretty male-dominated. So about 10% of the industry is owned and operated by women, and so it has been more of a pioneering process. Really wanted to live in a world that helped, that just didn't help the rich get richer, really helping being more inclusive and diversified. And so we really have made a name for ourselves here in Spokane because we have a team of 6, and we really customize and help small business owners and professionals with their individual planning.
Getting everything to be diversified with women and I assume other groups as well, especially now with all the protests going on, that's quite a big deal in society, getting everything to be more equal out there, because I know for a long time you say it was a male-dominated, it's probably still is a male-dominated profession. It's, it's paramount that we start to get things to be a little more equal.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of opportunity for women in financial services, and want to encourage more women into the field. I personally have been in the industry since I graduated from Yale University and have raised 4 kids and been in the Spokane community. And it's an industry that needs other women that want to make a difference. And so hopefully we can be a role model for other young professionals, entrepreneurial people.
Well, at least I know I can trust you to know what you're doing, especially coming out of Yale. That's quite the place to get into.
Yeah, it is. It's a difficult school. I was an economics major, and then after school I was an analyst for a year and started in the industry, in the insurance industry, and then went out on my own and formed Fulcrum Financial Group in 1997. So in addition to college education, I have a variety of securities licensed. I'm a chartered financial consultant, a chartered life underwriter, and a certified financial planner. So those are all continuing educational degrees in the industry.
Sounds like you've done quite a bit.
I do. I love it. I'm passionate about it.
Hey, I mean, if you're passionate about what you do and you love doing it, you'll never work a day in your life.
That is so true. I feel very blessed to, one of the when I have downtime and I'm at the beach and I'm hanging out, I like studying economic information. That's probably sad, but very true. I love following the market and knowing what's going on.
Hey, everybody's got their little niche, you know. Everybody's got something that they enjoy doing. You can't really judge somebody for what they love.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So 22 years. I'm not even that old.
You're not even 22 yet.
I'm 19.
Yeah.
So you've been around longer than I have.
I have.
Yeah,
I've been in the industry for a long time. Yeah. So, well, one thing that's been interesting is with this pandemic and economic turmoil, and being financial services, we're an essential business. So we have been processing probably about 400 times what we normally do during this time. So it's very unnerving for people when things are changing and they want to know why. So we've really tried to lean in with communication, and we've upped our game with doubling capacity of meeting people, and technology has been really helpful, doing a lot of Zoom meetings, helping to educate our clients on how to operate technology and giving them more timely information as they need it.
Yeah, the financial side of things is definitely something people haven't really focused on with Corona out there. It's not something you hear about a whole lot. It's brain fart. So the financial side of COVID is probably something people don't focus on a whole lot, so it's good to know that there are people out there to help everybody, because obviously with people making less money, the stimulus checks having to come out, people are having less money than they're used to, so having people that can help them be like, hey, here's how to kind of handle this, that's probably really fulfilling, I would assume. You may be able to help people in this time.
It is really fulfilling. It's, there's been so many other times that we've been through turmoil, although not to the same extent that we are now. But we have had other patterns of behavior that we anticipate will follow through in this situation as well. But back in March, the market dropped very fast.
Yeah.
About 30%, and if you're someone that's getting ready to retire, or looking at your 401k account, it can be very upsetting when you work so hard and suddenly you see how volatile. So it's really important that people have an overall strategy that fits their time horizon and risk tolerance in helping to build a customized plan, and that's what we do, and that's where it's been really helpful to guide people through. So our clients are in a position to really thrive and take advantage of this situation, but we've planned for it, because this is not going to be the last time a crisis comes up. Last time was 2008. I mean, there's always going to be different changes that happen, and it's important to have an overall game plan so you and your family can be protected. So you being as young as you are, you make an excellent time to get involved and start saving and learning some of that that knowledge base, because that's how you build true wealth, is starting young and being consistent and having an overall game plan. So come in and talk to us.
Oh, that sounds like something my mom hounds me about saving. And I know you're watching, Mom. I'm calling you out on that one.
That's good. Smart woman.
Yeah, well, she does work at a school, so... what advice for young people like myself, or even just anybody, can you give, kind of a quick little, hey, if you're not doing this, you might want to think about it?
Yeah, so one of the challenges I see of people of all ages is they'll take long-term money to solve a short-term money problem. Don't do it. It's not worth it. So for people that maybe are laid off and, really want to commit to buying a new car or thing, and they don't have money except in the retirement plan, don't raid your retirement to buy that piece of metal. If you can avoid that basic mistake, instead choose to treat yourself as the bank for the small term problems. Stay out of personal debt, because even if interest rates are low, if things happen and you don't pay that loan back, well, guess what? The bank comes and takes your home, takes your car. You don't want to get into that giant sucking sound of debt. That would be, as a young person, I would highly recommend that you live within your means, practice delayed gratification, and systematically pay yourself first. The way you can think of, and maybe your mom would agree to this, being an educator, but if you save yourself, you should look at that as a form of self-respect. It's a way that you create options for your future. Yeah. So you can get into that house you want to buy. You can go on those educational opportunities for your significant other and kids. It creates opportunities.
Yeah, I can imagine that dipping into your 401k or in retirement, dipping into it now is probably a bad idea for the long term.
It is. It just sabotages your future.
Yeah.
And your future's too important to ignore it.
Most definitely. So back on the COVID thing, I know with a lot of people, there's probably still people out there who aren't going out nearly as much, or even probably still at all, as they might used to. Is there a way they can reach out to Fulcrum without having to go anywhere?
Yep, you sure can. You can through our website, www.fulcrumfinancialgroup.com, and you can send us a question. I also have I write original content. Blog is posted there. I'm always interested in what people want to read about. I'm do a lot of blogging about fear and money and overall strategies, so people can make changes and meaningful impact for the long term.
Well, it sounds like this conversation has been more directed towards everybody, but also myself, because I've learned quite a bit talking to you, and I'll have to keep an eye on my bank account a little more than I normally do. It's been wonderful having you on. Is there any last statements you want to make sure that everybody knows about?
Just really want people to be thoughtful, kind to others, and take care of yourself and your community. We're all worth it.
Everybody is worth it. Well, that'll do it for this segment of The Pulse. It's been wonderful having you all here. It's been wonderful having you here. I will catch you next time, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Ask the host a question, recommend a guest, or check out any of our other programs on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SpokaneTalksMedia.com. Sponsored by Local 29 Firefighters Union, Well Dressed Walrus, and Homes for You.